It's been a rough month in January for the people who live in California. I mean, what a way to start off 2025, huh? The wildfires happened in the LA metropolitan area and the San Diego County. I heard it doesn't rain in California, which it should, so there will be no wildfires. The people who don't live in LA, you are blessed to not have to worry about wildfires in your area. California having no rain makes me think of the Tony's It Never Rains in Southern California. Here's me singing my Tony's It Never Rains in Southern California version about the wildfires. It's sad about the California wildfire. California needs some rain. How many homes been burned to the ground? All over the LA town. But all the schools too, so what about the children's education? It's sad about the California wildfires, and it's so sad. It's a disaster. Just please the people that are in so much pain. Now here's me singing my Tony's It Never Rains in Southern California version about the connection with Tony and Rick and Morty ever since the Purge episode where they played Tony's It Feels Good. Rick and Morty and Tony, perfect together, yes. Since that Purge episode, let's listen to Tony, makes me think Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, Tony are great together. Yes, they are. Rick and Morty, Tony. Rick and Morty with the Tony. People have lost their homes, non-celebrities and celebrities. Mandy Moore lost her home, but luckily Hillary Duff and her husband allowed Mandy and her family to stay with them. Props to Hillary and her husband for allowing Mandy Moore and her family to stay with them. Paris Hilton lost her home, and I really feel bad for Paris since the Congress bill passed to stop institutional child abuse. In her memoir, she said she was abused as a teenager. So she would make sure that the kids don't go through the same thing that she did. It's sad that Paris went through it. So why would she want kids to go through the same thing? I'm proud of Paris for doing that. Despite doing some good, her home still burned down. But I'm proud for Paris for the memoir she came out and that she's trying to make sure that kids don't end up being abused like the way she did. I'm proud of Paris for doing those type of things. And that's what makes her even hotter. I think she's hotter than Kim Kardashian. And what she's doing to help the kids out, to keep them safe from being abused, that makes her even hotter. I mean, she seems like a nice person. I mean, she's the same woman that once gave money to a random homeless person. Usually celebrities like her don't even think about doing that nor care, but Paris does. So props to Paris. And I also feel bad for the kids since the schools have burned down. So now it's like the kids can't even go to school. They can't get their education. And it's like once they do build new schools again in California, when they do go back to school, what happens to the kids that were in the first grade or in second grade by the time those schools burn? Do they still continue finishing going to the first grade or in second grade? Or do they just have them move on to the next grade? And they just graduate from that grade by default, going on to the next grade once those schools are built up. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the California wildfires. It sucks that those people in California had to suffer. Seriously, California need to get some rain. What California got against about not having no rain? It's bad enough they got earthquakes there too. Wildfires and earthquakes. And people that don't live in California, you should be lucky you ain't got to worry about having earthquakes and like tornadoes. Alright, that's it. See you later.